What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? So welcome to Friday's episode. So lot less cyber on this one. So Monday, Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion, Thursdays ask a CISSP, and then Fridays we talk about movies, books, games, all that good stuff. So without further ado, I'll give it to Shannon.
Yeah, man, it was an okay week for me, man. We got a little bit of snow, which we need some moisture around here, right? Like we're not trying to be out here burning like California. California's going through it right now, man. With them fires.
That's crazy. Half of the country is on fire, and the other half of the country is frozen.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's wild, but man, hopefully they get through it, right? Like people are losing their houses, their livelihoods, so hey, prayers out to them. I hope they get through it. But for us, like I said, we got a little bit of moisture. We got some yesterday even. So like yesterday was just supposed to be a couple spots of snow showers, right? But we ended up getting more than what I thought we were going to get. At least an inch of snow. I was like, man, okay. I was like, maybe it's not a bad thing, right? We might get more snow this winter than what I thought we were going to get, because it stayed warmer longer into the colder seasons. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh man, this ain't gonna be good. We're gonna be wearing shorts in January here in Colorado,
right?
But no, that was pretty cool. We needed the moisture. As far as media watching, the wife and I are still watching Modern Family. We love the show. I think we're to the point where we're coming up on the point where we stopped watching it last time, where we didn't have the time, and to me it was getting a little stale. You know what I mean? But we're gonna keep watching it and get through that part. So High Potential came back off a break. Did you ever start watching?
So they
it?
had a commercial. Yeah.
Did you ever?
So I haven't started back up yet.
Okay.
No, not yet.
All right, but no, it's a good series. But this last episode, I was kind of like, all right, it's not how I remember it being, but it could be because they've had a break since I think it was the end of November or something like that. It might have been all of December, but I was like, okay, I'll still give it a shot, right? Like that was like the 8th or 9th episode, I think. So I'm like, all right, it's okay to have misses, right? But like if this is going to be the new norm, maybe not so much, right? And then you put me on before I actually watched it, the Abbott Elementary crossover, where they had the crossover.
Yeah, I saw a commercial for it.
Yeah, it was good, man. Now, mind you, it's not as raunchy as It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's
right.
On FX,
you got to tone it down a little bit. Yeah.
They're on ABC with Abbott Elementary, but it was a good episode, man. And they pushed the boundaries a little bit with some of the stuff that they do on It's Always Sunny. That it was just like, ooh.
Gotcha. Because they're going the other way too, right? Won't they be on Always? I thought it was going to be an event where they go to their show too.
Is it?
Yeah.
So their new season hasn't started up yet. It's Always Sunny's new season hasn't started up yet. So maybe it will happen to where or they'll do it to where they did it from a different perspective. Like maybe it's the same show, but they show like they showed from Abbott Elementary's like how they were filming and everything. Because like in the episode, one of the characters is like, "What's with all these cameras here?" He's like, "No, I'm not for that. I'm going to go behind those, right?" And then like you see him in front of the camera again, and he hides his face and goes behind again. Like, because they're a raunchy group. They do some stuff that's just kind of crazy, right? But no, it was a good episode as well. Abbott Elementary, that was a good one. What else did I watch? Oh man, I watched this documentary on Jerry Springer, the Jerry Springer Show. I think it was called Fights, Cameras, Action. So instead of Lights, Camera, Action, it was Fights, Camera, Action.
Is he still alive? He's still alive, right?
He died about a year and a half ago. Yeah, it was recent. Gotcha. It was fairly recent. I think it was 2023.
He had a judge show after Jerry Springer, like where he basically, because anybody can have a judge show as long as you're a licensed mediator or something like that.
So like, Steve Harvey is a licensed mediator? Doesn't he have like
something like
Steve
that?
Harvey show?
Yeah, like you have to have something, because you're not actually like, it's called a judge show, but you're not actually a judge, but you are doing mediation of some sort.
But those other judge shows, like those judgments are real. Like when you owe the person $500 or whatever like that. Like I
think because you agree to it beforehand. Okay. Like you agree to whatever we come out with.
But those judges,
damages.
Some of those judges are real though. Like Wapner
yes, some of them are real. Yes. But now Jerry Springer, not a judge.
Yeah. I saw one the other day. It was what was the name of it? It was Hot Bench. And there was three different judges. I'm like, what is going on here, man? Like, I don't understand.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't keep it on to watch it.
Because they bounce off of each other. So like you're really getting like the three, and usually they're all pretty much on the same lane because they're professionals or whatever. But every now and then they'll be like, nah, I see it from this perspective, or I see it from there's a precedent here that I want to judge it this way. So every now and then they do conflict.
That was weird. That was weird to me. I was like, man, it's crazy.
It's like being at a tribunal.
Yeah. So it's crazy because whenever we have like the snow, like I work on a military base, so if I have a delay or a day off because of snow, like I'm working from home, but like I'll be watching something on TV that I'm like, I didn't know this was a thing, right? So like you'll see things like Maury Povich is producing other shows. There's this guy called Karamo, I think it's the guy's name, bald black guy. That's on, and it's very Maury like when you see it, like even though you know how Maury used to have the square with the M in it, and that was the Maury show, whatever. Like this guy's has a K in it, but it's a different color, but it's still the block. And
is he doing paternity tests? Because that's what Maury devolved into.
He did. I watched a little bit of it. He did, like, he goes into people's phones to see if they're lying, like to catch them doing stuff, right? So like he's like, yeah, you handed over your phone, and this is what we found. And I'm like, what? Like people are doing this,
right? That makes sense. Like some of these people are I've seen it where some of these people are actors. Like some of the I've known people to actually go on a judge show, right?
Really?
People's Court actually had a family member on it before. It blew my mind. They told us because they recorded it a long time ago, but they finally was about to air. They were like, hey, check out the show. I'm going to be on People's Court. I was like, yeah, right. And I cut it on, and it's like an uncle. I was like, yo. Because they film in upstate or western New York. Yeah. So I was like, yo, that's crazy. This is real. So some of those people are actors.
Really? On the judge shows?
Yeah. Like I've seen a couple of TikToks and things of that nature where somebody will be like, yeah, I was hired to do this small cameo on this show. And then they'll show multiple shows that they were on. And you're like, oh, you're on like 2 judge shows. So I think they're like filler. Like when they don't have real people, they'll bring people in.
So your family member, was that Judge Wapner, the old guy, or was it Milian?
It was Wapner.
It was Wapner. That was a while ago.
It was a while ago. Yeah.
It was a while ago. But yeah, I didn't know the judge shows actually did that. But back to the Jerry Springer thing, they talked about that a little bit. So like what it was they did a lot of interviewing with the producers, pretty much was what it was. And they had some people that had family members that were affected and whatnot. But the producers talked about how, when it first started out, it was not that great. It was one of many, daytime TV talk shows out there, and it was so way down in the ratings. And so they decided to change it up. So they brought in this producer. So I remember the guy, as they're showing old clips, I was like, yeah, I remember that guy. He was always standing off to the side. And when Jerry would walk off, he walked past the guy. He had the glasses, kind of bigger. Dominic, I think was the guy's last name, the producer. But that dude went on and he was like, nothing is off limits. He actually said on the show, they had done an interview with him years ago. He was like, they were like, where is the line? He's like, there is no line. He said, if they would let me execute somebody on TV and show it, he said, I would do it. Like, this is him saying it. This is him saying it. He's like, there is no line. And so he was like the main producer, but he would have other producers that would produce different segments on the show.
Right.
And there was a good 20 or 25 of them. And so they're interviewing them, and some of them were just like, well, I could not make it. Like, it got to a point where they wanted the realism of the fights. And this one lady, she got fired because she didn't vet good enough this couple that came on there that was just so fake. And she said that, first off, there was they had a Bermuda Triangle of where people come from that go on the Jerry show. So it was like Ohio to Kentucky to Georgia. And it was like, this triangle is where 75% of the people that went on the show, this is where they came from. And she was like, I didn't do my due diligence. And this couple was from Boston. She said, people from Boston don't go on a Jerry Springer show. That's what she said. And this is one of the former producers. And she said they came on and they just faked it. She was like, the guy missed with a punch, and then the other guy like faked it, like he got hit and all this.
Okay, gotcha.
She said, I was fired that day. She's like, that's not what they wanted. They want people to really go to blows. And they show some of the old stuff, and I'm like, yeah, Jerry was raw, man. But
it was a bit much.
It was crazy.
They had strippers with stripper poles and people throwing hands.
But that was the later season. So like that was after the guy that was like, I would show an execution if they let me. He left the show in 2008. It was after that they were just like, we got to do whatever. And then it was, the stripper poles thing. Like I remember that years ago. I was like, is this Jerry Springer now? And like they're just on the stage on the poles while people are being interviewed. And I'm like,
like what's happening?
I was like, is this what we are now? Like I don't know, man. It was crazy.
That's America distilled into a 30-minute show.
Yeah.
You got people with guns just driving around.
Yeah. It's wild, man. But something I did not know. I never knew this about Jerry Springer. So they kind of had like you remember Jenny Jones, where she had the guy that came on there, and then the person that had the crush on him was the other guy, and he went and he shot him. They had a similar type thing that happened with Jerry Springer, which still didn't get them off the air. So there was a woman that came on that they lied to, and when she came on, she didn't know that her, I want to say ex-husband, or a husband she was not living with at the time, had supposedly married this other woman, right? And so apparently it's one of those my mistress type things. So when the lady came on, like, you could tell she wasn't for the nonsense, right? So like she comes on and you could just see in her face as they show the filming, and they had her son on to talk about the aftermath of all of this. He was the one that was being interviewed. And like she was like, the other woman, the mistress, or I guess it was his wife, she said they got married, was like, yeah, it's not funny. It's not funny because this woman ended up dying, but she was like, yeah, he wants me and not, she was like, that's fine. And she just got up and walked off. Like, she didn't fight her, because that's what they were looking for. They were looking for fights. And the producers talked about how they would kind of rehearse backstage, and they would rile these people up to get them ready to do this. Because they said a lot of times people come on and just be like, oh, I'm not, I don't like that. That hurts my feelings or whatever. They're like, no. How does it make you feel? How do you do this? So they're whipping them into a frenzy in the back.
Oh, got you.
To get them.
It makes sense, because like in the Maury ones where they're yelling at the camera.
Yeah.
Like, I do what I want and I slap my mama. You're like, why are they yelling? You know what I'm talking about? Like, every single time. It's probably them getting hyped.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you something. Me and my wife mess around with each other, and like one of the things I do is it's just like that. So they're terrible actors when they're talking to the camera.
Yeah.
So like every once in a while, whenever it comes up, when I want to do something different than my wife does, I was like, I'm my own person. I don't have to listen to anybody. I drink, I smoke, and I have sex. And I said to her just like that, and then she starts laughing. We both know where it comes from, but it's those Maury behind the scenes.
That's like an 11-year-old, right? He's like, yo, what is happening?
A teenager. I drink, I smoke, and I have sex. It's like, oh, come on, whatever. But no, so what ended up happening was this woman just walked off, and so when she got backstage, they told her, and this is one of the things they would do, was a lot of the people that came on the show didn't have a lot of money, right? So they would threaten them with, we're not going to pay your way back home. Like, if you don't come back to the show, like if you don't show back up, come back on stage and finish the show, we're not going to pay for your ticket back home. And she was like, that's fine. So she hitchhiked in Chicago and found a Good Samaritan that got her a bus ticket back to, she came out of Florida is where it was. Well, a few months later, the day the show aired, this guy that was her ex-husband or whatever, it came out later that he actually killed her. Like, he went to her house, like he was in a bar getting drunk when the show was airing, and it actually got to him, and he had actually killed her and fled with the other woman that was his supposed wife. But I never knew they had that Jenny Jones type scandal for Jerry Springer. But there was other stuff too. Like there was one time where they went to Jamaica because they were trying to flee a subpoena, for that. You know what I mean? No, seriously, like they went to this. What? They went to like, it was like I don't know if it was a nudist colony or what it was, called Hedonism or something like that was the name of the resort. But they fled to Jamaica, the show, to film in Jamaica because they were trying to get subpoenas. So one of the producers was like, look, he's like, I'm not saying we fled to avoid the subpoenas, but we didn't get subpoenaed. That's what he said. I was like, well, I guess it worked out, right? But
yeah, how do you know when to come back? Like, how does that work?
I don't know. But then they show clips of that show. I was like, I don't remember them ever going to Jamaica, right? But like, I stopped watching it when I joined the military, right? Like, it was not one of those things that was regularly something I watched. Like, I wasn't at home to do so or whatever it may be. But yeah, man, it was an interesting documentary. It was only 2 episodes, though. It was only 2 episodes, about 50 minutes each. But it was an interesting take on the Jerry Springer show. But they talked about how they were on the verge of getting canceled, and then this new producer came in and was like, ramp it up. He was like, everything goes. And there was a couple of producers that were like, I pitched something to him I was sure was gonna get shot down. He was like, nope, let's make it happen. He's like, oh, okay.
Like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We need more ideas like this one. Like, what?
He ran with it, man. But that's pretty much the media watching and all that I had. Man, I tell you what, I did pick up Madden again. I don't know why I do it to myself. I told myself I was done with it. But like, and the reason being, right, I saw my Penn State Nittany Lions lose on Thursday, which we should have won that game. But Notre Dame, hats off to them. They took it from us. But I saw my Ravens take care of business, though. So I tell you what.
Yeah,
well,
beat the Steelers down.
Hey, look, Ryan. I have a feeling we are on a collision now, right? Because I don't think the Broncos are going to give y'all any problems. I just don't think it's gonna.
I hope not. Yeah. I don't think so either. But I just don't want to get gassed up too much and then be very very upset. But the NFL script already leaked. I already saw it. Like they put it on social media. So it's supposedly we go head to head. The Bills come out on top. The Bills go against who's the Super Bowl? Super Bowl is us versus the
it'll be probably the
Eagles.
Eagles or
Yeah,
over the Lions, maybe. Like I don't know, Lions.
Yeah, they say that basically the Eagles sweep it. Like they come all the way now, and it's us versus the Eagles, and then it doesn't say who won though. So
I can see that. I can see that. And here's the thing: like the Bills are playing way better than when we played them earlier in the season. That Week 3 game, like we handled it right, but like
that run game though,
after that
murdered us.
Yeah, but like
he was doing that last night too. He was just trucking people. I'm just like, yo, this dude needs to be tested before and after every game, mental and physical. Something ain't right. He hit sticks everybody. Like who has that type of energy? Play after play after play.
It's only
he's not wired right.
Yeah.
Get that man out of here.
But no, Josh Allen. I mean, because like the consensus is that it's either going to be Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson for the MVP, right? Everybody else has kind of fallen off. Saquon fell out when he didn't play the last week. Joe Burrow, I don't think made a big impression that last week, right? Because those were kind of the other two that were in there. So it's like this is going to be the battle of the potential MVPs, and it's a regular season award, right? So it's one of those things where this is not going to contribute to the voting for it, right? But I don't know. They look way more deadly than they did earlier in the season when we got a hold of y'all. And I'm not looking forward to Josh Allen. I don't know.
I'm down for it. So, but yeah,
because we got to come to y'all too, because y'all are higher seated. So we would have to come to Buffalo. It wouldn't be y'all coming down to us.
Because you could be freezing. It's cold up there.
I know it's cold in Maryland, but it ain't cold like it ain't cold like Buffalo.
It's crazy right now. Yeah, so we'll see. Like I'm hoping, but I just want the easiest route possible, and I don't want that. I need y'all. I need the Steelers to take care of business. They did not. All right, so it is what it is at that point. But my thing with the Steelers is like during the regular season they are lethal, right? Like they have some really good regular seasons.
They do. They make the playoffs.
They get bounced out the playoffs every time.
Yeah. This was the 5th game in a row they lost though, right? So they lost the last 4 of the regular season, and then you even sent that Wayne's World,
that meme,
the Wayne's World video where it was like, yeah, but I was like, yeah, that's my hope, you know what I mean? But it started out. I know you weren't at home, watching the game from the beginning, but it started out. We went up 21-0 on them. I was like, oh.
Yeah, that's why I tuned in. It was at 21-0. Yeah.
I was like, yes. But then we just took our foot off the gas. Like you could tell like our defense was laying back more, you know what I mean? Like the offense was just like, just run it to eat the clock. And I'm like, still do some of the passing you were doing. Don't just run it into the middle of a big pile of bodies. Like you still gotta make it happen. But we pulled it off. So unlike my Nittany Lions, but we'll see. But what about you, man? What'd you do this past week?
Let's see. So a lot of relaxing, a lot of chilling. Like last night, then we had a date night, so that's why I missed the first half of the game. But we went to Ruth's Chris, so it was like my second or third time. It's not a bad establishment. Like I really do like it. It's just not one of my favorites in the area, right? When it comes to the steak and what have you, it's more like an Ocean Prime or a Cooper's Hawk or something like that. But their service is expedient, right? Valet is what's it called when it's free, customary, or what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, custom. Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, my brain's not working right now. But you still pay them.
Complimentary.
Yeah, complimentary valet parking, right? Like all the rest of them charge you, and then on top of a tip, right? But not bad at all. Like just their menu is limited, right? The drinks are strong. I'm like, what did you put in this? Why is this old fashioned so strong? But yeah, it was a good time. We had a really good night, and then came home, watched the second half of the game, and crashed out. But you made me laugh when you were talking about, or when I guess I made myself laugh when I was talking about the guns on Jerry Springer, how it's like Little America all at one time with strip poles and what have you. I was watching an anime called Summertime Rendering, right? And I think it's either the first or second episode. Like it. Don't watch this in front of your kids. It starts out cutesy and it gets real violent. Yeah. surprisingly. But in one of the episodes, the guy hands this schoolgirl a gun to take care of business. Right, she's supposed to go kill this other. She's basically a replacement. Like they look like the people they're replacing. So he hands her the gun, and she was like, "I'll take care of it later." And he was like, "Why don't you take care of it now?" And she was like, "A gunshot in the middle of the night on this quiet street would stand out. This is not America." It was the dove. I was like, "Oh, why we catch a stray? Why America catch a stray like that?"
But okay, it's like watching Boondocks, right? It's like, oh
Yeah.
man, that hurts, but it's true.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, that's too much. You know what I mean?
I was like, "Oh, okay. I see where we're going with this one." But I started watching that one. I'm on like episode 2 or 3. It's keeping my interest. I finished Da Da Da. It's only 12 episodes out there. I don't know if they took like a mid-season break or whatever. Like I was expecting more episodes, so I didn't think I was done. But they've been on episode 12 for like 3 weeks, so either it's a mid-season break or they're just done for the season. And oh yeah, so Summertime Rendering is on Hulu. And then been playing a lot of Call of Duty still, playing the multiplayer, is still fun. It's just a good palate cleanser, right? Take a break. And I started back up on Final Fantasy. No idea what's going on, so I'm trying to work my way back through the systems because I put it down for so long. And I started the new game on it's a PlayStation property on Steam, right? It's one of those games that made over to the PC. It's called Days Gone. So think of like The Last of Us, like zombie apocalypse, but you're playing a guy named Deke who's like a biker. He's got like the biker jacket on. It says 1%er, so obviously he was a veteran. And you're kind of it feels more like The Walking Dead than anything else. Like it's just you versus the world, right? You got encampments, and there's still a social structure. Like they have camps with people who provide services. So you go to the camp to get your bike fixed because you're on a motorcycle, which actually does take damage and needs gas. So you have to go find gas and stuff like that as you're between missions. So it feels more like that kind of Sons of Anarchy like vibe to it. So that might be why it didn't really take off, because it didn't get a sequel and nobody really raved about it. But it's pretty cool. Like the AI on the zombies, they're called freakers because nobody is a zombie anymore. They got to be called something. Like The Walking Dead were walkers, right? So they're like pretty intelligent, but the thing is, if you make a lot of noise, they come at you in mass, and because it's on PC and it renders a lot more characters at one time, right? So on the super ultra wide I'm playing on, because they gotta get it if it's on super ultra wide. Yeah, they're like you can have hundreds of them attacking you all at one time. So you gotta be stealthy, or you're gonna get murdered, right? Because you don't have enough ammo. Ammo is scarce. You can make craft Molotov cocktails and stuff like that, but that's only taking care of so many at a time. So you get mobbed up quick.
And you're riding in on a motorcycle? A motorcycle ain't quiet?
Well, you usually got to stop back pretty far because like at one point early in the game, like my companion took off on a motorcycle to draw their attention to pull them away from the camp. So I go in there and find the parts and stuff I needed. And now I'm on a mission where I have to find sterilized bandages because he suffered third-degree burns. Because there's another faction out there. I forget what they're called, but basically they're like fanatics. So like they believe in catching people and trying to pull them into their cult, and they basically took a blowtorch to his arm as punishment. He did something to him, I forget what it was, but they burnt him up pretty bad. So he ain't gonna make it. Like there's no hospitals, and his entire arm is third-degree burns. So I think these bandages are for naught. But I don't know how people turn into zombies just yet. I haven't gotten that far yet, but it's keeping my interest, and like I said, it looks really good. I don't know why it didn't take off, but I think it's because of the vibe. It didn't really, maybe this didn't stand out of the pack at the time. So it was like $4 on Steam. I bought it because it said it supported the extra wide screen, and so far I like it. So far so good. That's pretty much it for me. Like not much is going on. Like still trying to pick up after the new year. I got a cert I'm targeting hopefully for Q1, and still writing. So I'm trying to get my manuscript done by the end of Q1, but it's happening. It's just not happening as quick as I was thinking it would. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, it was good catching up. We usually don't have a lot of these smaller episodes because we have a bigger team now. But the other two gents were under the weather. Like everybody stay. I don't know, whatever is to fight sickness. Stay hydrated. Stay full of vitamin C because everybody's getting sick. And definitely continue to tune into us.
I'm gonna tell you something. Much like puberty for me, it hit early for me than it did everybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's getting sick, man. So there's so many different things happening right now with different viruses, and they're telling kids to go wash their backpacks and stuff. Like, it's wild.
I saw that. Yeah, before they went back from break, they were like, wash your jackets, your outerwear. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. But hopefully everybody stays well. Everybody recovers from the holiday. Definitely continue to check us out throughout the week. So Monday, Tuesday, our topics. Wednesday, discussion. Thursdays, ask a CISSP. Fridays, everything else. You can hit us up on all the social medias that go by our name. The other side of the firewall, the other side of the FW, or ask a CISSP. Get me up personally. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. You can find me pretty much on all the platforms, but LinkedIn is where I'm most responsive. And you can find the other two gentlemen by their names on LinkedIn. Stay safe. Stay secure.